Welcome to the Leading Life Podcast, the place where leadership meets real life. Here is where we talk about leading with intention, living with clarity, and getting better results for the people we serve every single day. If you're ready to grow, you're in the right place. Right now on today's episode, the top 10 end-of-life regrets. Welcome to the Leading Life Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Zook. This show is about what it takes to grow, lead, and live with purpose. You know, after more than 35 years of leading teams, coaching people, and building leaders, I've learned one thing, that your life will only grow as much as you're willing to lead it. So each episode here talks about practical tools and real-world insights to help you become a stronger leader, not only at work, but at home and all throughout your life in general. No fluff, no empty motivation, just actionable steps you can take today and put into practice right now. Today, we're going to talk about really tackling one of life's most important questions, and that is, what kind of life will I look back on someday? And, you know, I was out running and walking the other day, exercising, and I said to myself, I don't want to end up 75 looking back over the shadow of a life that could have been. And for you, the listener, I don't want that for you either, because every one of us is moving toward a moment where we reflect on our life. And the truth is, some people reach that moment filled with peace and fulfillment, but a lot of others arrive there with regret. And so today we're going to talk about that difference. For decades, hospice nurses, psychologists, and end-of-life researchers have documented the reflections of people in their final months. One of the most well-known voices in this work is Bronnie Ware, who spent years caring for patients at the end of life. And what she discovered was something surprising. People almost never talked about money or status or their promotions, and they especially didn't talk about material things. Instead, what they talked about was how they lived. They talked about what they did. They talked about what they didn't do, and they talked about who they loved and who they didn't spend enough time with. So today, I want to walk you through 10 of the most common regrets people report at the end of the life. But I also, and more importantly, want to talk about the traits of people who did reach the end of life feeling deeply fulfilled. Because if we understand both, then we can start designing a life that we're actually proud of. So here are the 10 most common regrets at the end of life. Number 1, I wish I had lived a life true to myself. You know, this is consistently the number one regret. Many people realize they spent decades living according to expectations, social pressure, fear of judgment, someone else's definition of success. They didn't ask the question, what do I truly want my life to be? I think this is really important to think about. Are you living a life true to yourself? I will tell you many, many years ago, I will probably talk about this in another episode in more detail, but I lost a high school friend over this very thing, that this very regret, that they did not start to build a path of a life that was true to themselves, but they were only going by what their family's expectation was. And I know that can be hard, but they had the ability to break out of it and they didn't do it. That's what I really want you to ask yourself. What do you truly want your life to be? Number 2, I wish I hadn't worked so much. Yeah, work matters, obviously, but many people reach later life realizing that work slowly crowded out the things that mattered most. Time with family, your friendships, and meaningful experiences. Work should support life, but it shouldn't replace it. Years ago, I had a coworker that was struggling to find her place, and we worked through a couple different things to help, balance her schedule better as a manager. And finally, she just said, you know what, Andy, I'm missing out on moments with my son, and I just can't give to this anymore. I need to step away, and this is something that I must do because I'm going to regret it later, that I had worked so much that I missed all those moments with him. And I said, please go and do what you need to do. Work will always be here. So yeah, number 2, I wish I hadn't worked so much. Number 3, I wish I had expressed my feelings more. Yeah, many people spend a lot of their years holding things back. They don't say, I love you, I appreciate you, I'm proud of you, or the big one, hey, I'm sorry. And later they realize how much those words mattered. You know, when I look back over regrets in my life, it's never really actions. It's more that I said something that could have hurt somebody. That's what really haunts me the most. So don't hold those things back. I have a group of coworkers that I see outside of work a lot, and we tell each other how much we love each other all the time because we mean that much to each other, and we don't hold back because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So when we're together, we say it out loud. And it's funny because some of the other people at work are like, wow, like, what is up? Like, it's almost uncomfortable for them. Like, why do you guys do that? It's like, hey, we're together now. Now's the moment to say it and appreciate the people around you. All right, number 4, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Yeah, life has a way of shrinking our circles, and I've watched this happen to people I know. But relationships are one of the strongest predictors of long-term happiness, according to research from the Harvard Study of Adult Development. At the end of life, people don't miss more emails or meetings. They miss people. So stay in touch with your friends. Stay in touch with your friends from your youth and reach out to ones that you haven't talked to in a while. I'll tell you what, my high school that I went to a Catholic boys high school in Wheaton, Maryland, good counsel. Me and all my friends from that class, we stay in touch to this day. We get together, we see each other. If we can't get together because we're spread out, we Zoom. It's really been important for me to stay in touch with those guys. It grounds me. Whenever I'm struggling with something or I'm really excited about something, I know I can share it with them and they're happy for me as I am happy for them. All right, number 5, I wish I had allowed myself to be happier. This one will surprise a lot of people. I've told this one to my friends and they're always like, what does that mean? Well, I think it means that many individuals realize happiness wasn't something that was taken from them. It was just something they postponed. They were always waiting for the next milestone, and happiness kept getting delayed. Happiness is not getting the next step on the ladder in your career. Happiness is enjoying right where you are right now in the process of getting to that next step. Enjoy the process. Everybody that has been successful that I know in my life and I see out there in the world will tell you, fall in love with the process and be happy doing it along the way. All right, number 6, I wish I had taken more risks. Yeah, not reckless risks, but life risks. Starting something new, speaking up when you know you needed to, changing the direction because things weren't working out, or keep in mind, the pain of failure fades, but the regret of never trying tends to stay. Yeah, I had a coworker years ago, he has since passed on, but he had this golden opportunity to take over my store that I was running while I went to do a project for a month. And I said, hey man, all you got to do is do what I do every day. Come in, turn on the lights and just rock and roll. Do what you know to do. You know how to do this. And he was afraid to do it. And I said, you not taking this store while I'm gone is you failing twice. Because if you had just done it and failed, big deal, move on. But you not even attempting to do it, it's to me failing twice. So take those risks in life. You'll never always be ready for whatever's coming at you. Jump in, get your feet wet, and do it no matter what. You can always fail and start over. But if you don't try at all, you'll never know. Isn't that the worst thing to end your life with? Number 7, I wish I had focused more on experiences than possessions. Yes, experiences create memories. Possessions create clutter. I can tell you that from personal example. My parents just sold the house that they were last in for about 20-something years. And my father passed away last December, and we needed to put my mother into assisted living. And then the 3 of us, me and my sisters, had to figure out what we were going to do with, just endless possessions. It was unbelievable how much stuff there was. I don't want to end my life with a bunch of stuff. I don't even want stuff now. It means nothing to me. But very few people will look back and say, gosh, I wish I had bought more stuff. Whatever's material around me, it doesn't matter to me. And everybody's different, so I'm not judging. But I'm saying make sure you get things for you that you can create experiences with or lead to more experiences, not just something to buy it and it sits, in the corner of the room for the next 30 years. What does that really mean? Number 8, I wish I had taken better care of my health. Yeah, this is a big one. When people lose health later in life, they often realize how much freedom it provided because it gave them energy. It gives you mobility, strength. Health is one of the greatest enablers of a rich life. You guys know I talk about it constantly. I go to the gym every day and I talk to the older men in the gym. They always say, Andy, keep coming here for the rest of your life and you'll be here at 80, 85, still working out and stronger than everyone else. Take care of your health. It is everything. Number 9, I wish I had done something meaningful. Yeah, people want to know that their life mattered. They want to know that they contributed to something bigger than just the work itself and that they helped others along the way. Meaningful contribution becomes far more important than status. When I look back at my career in optical and leading other people in other businesses, I don't even remember results anymore. I don't even think about it. All I know is this person learned this, or this person got the promotion they were working for, and I helped enable that, or I helped open the door for that, and that's all that matters to me. I want to know that I helped people for 35 years. I don't care about anything else because none of it means anything. The meaning to my work came from who and how I contributed to the betterment of the people around us. Number 10, I wish I had realized sooner how short life really is, man. Is that the truth? Life feels long when we're young. I mean, like 16 to 21 is an eternity, right? We can't wait to be 21. Oh, we're going to party. We're going to go out. We're going to hit the clubs. I'm going to be able to buy alcohol, whatever, right? No, it feels like an eternity in that time period. But boy, I wish I could go back and just be like, hey, what's the rush? Because I'm telling you what, I was 16 40 years ago, but it feels like 5 years ago. And I'm dead serious. Decades move quickly, and people wish they had lived more intentionally earlier. Slow down and enjoy the ride. I texted one of my best friends in the world yesterday, and I said, what is the ultimate thing you would tell yourself at 18 now at 56? And he said, Andy, I would have said, lighten up and enjoy life. Stop rushing. Stop seeking the next thing and more money or fame or making it. You know, he was a musician. You just enjoy as it comes at you. Don't push it to go quicker than necessary because it's ultimately going to go really quick. All right. So the psychology behind regret is this. It comes from passive living. Not choosing, not acting, but letting circumstances decide our direction. Our brains are wired for safety and familiarity, but fulfillment usually requires something different, intentional living. Choosing how we spend our time, our energy, and our lives is everything. All right, so what are the traits of people who do end up passing away feeling fulfilled? Well, when researchers study people who reported deep life satisfaction near the end of life, certain patterns showed up again and again. So I want to share those with you. These people tend to share these 8 common traits. And here they are. Number 1, they lived according to their values. Yeah, they didn't chase other people's definitions of success. They asked themselves, what matters to me? And they aligned their life with it. Secondly, number 2, they invested deeply in the relationships around them. Strong marriages, deep friendships. They had close family connections. Those relationships became the emotional foundation for a meaningful life. And I will tell you the same. Again, leaving my job after 30-something years with this one company, I don't care about whatever trophies are on the wall, but I carry now the relationships with me that I built along the way. Those are everything to me. And how those people are doing and successful in their lives means that I was successful at what I did. All right, number 3, they stay curious. Yes, curiosity keeps people mentally alive. They continue learning, exploring, and growing. They never stopped asking questions. As I said, my dad just passed away, but I will tell you that we found out opening up his computer at 90 years old, he was doing research on Mozart and Beethoven and, you know, all these different composers and their life story and was writing this whole thing about it. My dad never stopped learning, even though he was research and science and medical. He spent the second part of his life researching things they're different from what he knew. So continue to stay curious. Number 4, they contributed to something bigger than themselves. They mentored, they taught, they served others, they volunteered. Meaningful contribution creates lasting fulfillment. I think we've said that quite a bit. Number 5, they took care of themselves. We talked about that as well. Health supports everything else. Energy allows people to experience life fully, and strength allows people to stay engaged longer. Number 6, they embrace growth. Yeah, they see life as a journey of learning. They adapted, they evolved, and they kept becoming. Me and my wife were driving home today from seeing our granddaughter, and I was pointing out an old neighborhood that I had lived in for a couple months because I needed to rent this room. I had nowhere to go, and I was walking like a mile or two just to get to the bus stop. I had no car back then, so when I first moved to Orlando. And I said, God, how stupid I was that I went through that. And my wife looked at me and said, no, you learned from it. It wasn't stupid. Maybe it was a mistake, but you learned from it, and look where you are now. So embrace the growth. You're going to make mistakes, but when you lose, you just learn how to better win. All right. Number 7, they practice gratitude. I mean, that's everything. They notice what was good in their lives. Gratitude helps people experience life instead of constantly chasing more. I will tell you, I start every day with 3 things I'm grateful for and think about that deeply. And I will tell you, at 56, it is a big part of my life, like looking at where I am in the world and where other people are and what people have been through, the suffering that people have experienced, people in other parts of the world going without food or water or even shelter. I think about those things. So does my wife. And that makes us incredibly grateful, for what we have. One day I walked in the kitchen and I called her into the kitchen. I said, look, we have bread over here. We had like a bowl of fruit in the corner. We had, a couple bottles of water next to the fridge. And I'm like, there are people that wake up every day. They don't even know what their next meal is going to be. So just take a look around and practice gratitude in your life for the small things you have, because it will really help you have a good outlook and ultimately feel really good about your life. Number 8, they loved deeply. At the end of life, love is often what people talk about the most. And that makes sense. The love they gave and the love they received. The relationships that really shape their lives. So think about that. Who do you love? Are you loving in the right capacity? Are you in a healthy relationship? And make sure you find someone that loves you for who you are and you can deeply love in return without it being manipulated. That's really important. Love deeply. I can't say that enough. It is part of every second of my day with my family. I love them deeply. And I know that when I leave this earth, I will relish in that I was loved and I loved with everything I could give. Yeah. All right. So this is your leadership edge for the episode. It's not always about leading teams, but it's about leading your own life. And the truth is, if you don't design your life intentionally, circumstances will design it for you. So the question is, what kind of life do you want to look back on someday, right? Because the choices you make this year are shaping that answer. And I want to give you your call to action, your call to arms this week. Take time to reflect on just this one question. Are you expanding your life or are you shrinking it? Because expanding looks like you're learning and you're building, you're loving more, you're strengthening the relationships around you, you're pursuing things that are meaningful for you, work that's meaningful, hobbies that are meaningful, you're taking care of your health. Shrinking looks like you're starting to drift, or you're avoiding that risk, or you're numbing out, postponing joy, or ignoring what matters to you. Small decisions compound into a life, so choose intentionally. And I want to give you a couple reflection questions, all right? Take a few minutes to think about these. What kind of life do I want to look back on someday? And am I living according to my values or someone else's expectations? What relationships deserve more attention from me? And what meaningful contribution do I want my life to make? And then lastly, what is one risk or opportunity that I've been postponing? And if the next 10 years were the most important decade of my life, how would I choose to live them differently? So, as we close this out, remember, life moves quickly. If you've ever seen Ferris Bueller, that's what he says. Life moves pretty fast. But the good news is this: we don't have to wait till the end of life to gain this wisdom. We can learn from it right now and design a life we will look back on one day with pride. So that's my episode. If it spoke to you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it, because leading your life well isn't about perfection. It's about awareness, courage, and choosing what truly matters one day at a time. If this impacted you for the better, please leave me a rating and review. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss another episode of the Leading Life Podcast. Remember, lead with purpose, live with intention, and keep becoming who you are meant to be. But most importantly, go out and be the hero of somebody's story today. Go live your best life. You deserve it. You got one shot. I will talk to you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. Bye.